Hello, my dear students. Once again, welcomes you to the online classes of biology. In the previous class of biology classes, we learned about the exclusive characteristics of living organisms and their distinguishing features. So, in this class, we will learn about the classification of the living organisms. First of all, let us see what is biodiversity. So it is defined as the enormous variety of life forms that exist over the surface of the earth is referred to as biological diversity or biodiversity. So it means the total number of living organisms which is present in the world. You will be very astonished to know that only about 20% of the biodiversity is discovered till date. 80% of the biodiversity is still unknown. So to recognize all the knowing living organisms, certain rules or you can say certain procedures were used by the scientists in order to classify them according to their observable characters. In order to classify the living organism, certain processes are required. So the process by which living organisms are grouped into some categories based on certain observable characters is known as classification. And the main thing is that what will be the aim of classification now? The aim of classification is to categorize all organisms into some recognizable groups and to arrange them in proper orders so that each and every individuals can be identified and their interrelationship can be established. So what's the meaning of all this? That means a living organism, suppose if we were talking about a plant, certain plant that is a mango tree, and if we are identifying its character that it seasons in the month of May, June, the fruit bears yellow in color, the flowering season is April. So this is the observable characters. Same ways we can categorize the flowering characteristics of a flowering plant when a flower is going to be flowered. So these are observable characters. In the same way, when we are going to consider any living organisms like animals. Now if we know that animals are diversity in nature from the ant up to the human beings. We all are included in animals. Now ant is also having a specific character. Tiger is having a specific character, human beings is having a specific character. So all these organisms are categorized based on their some recognizable characters. So this is the meaning and the aim of the classification. Next is systematics. So this is the branch of biology that deals with the classification, nomenclature and identification of an organism. It plays a central role in biology by providing the means for characterizing the organism that we study. It also signifies the relation between the different type of organisms. So systematic deals with the branch of biology. It is the branch of biology which deals with the classification. We are going to classify an organism according to their certain observable characters. We are going to name the organisms where we are terming it as a nomenclature, and we are going to identify then living organism by all these features. So systematic is the branch of biology which deals with all this, and it's a very important role playing in biology, and which because it provides the relationship. It also signifies the relationship between the different type of organism between themselves, among themselves. So this is systematics. Next is nomenclature. The scientific process of giving a name to an organism is called nomenclature. Now we all know that a scientific name is given or provided to an organism, to any of the living organism. Though a mango tree is known as a mango tree, but in the world of science, this mango tree will be termed as Mangifera indica. Likewise, rice, which we are eating every day, we are telling it as a rice. In some other countries, maybe the rice have some other names, but in the scientific name, it is termed as Oryza sativa. So this is the importance of scientific name. The aim of scientific nomenclature is to avoid giving different names to the same organism in different places, and thus to avoid confusion and facilitate easy recognition. That means if you are telling a mango plant as a Mangifera indica in India, and now if you are telling it Mangifera indica in America, so that people can also understand that we are talking about mango plant. So to avoid all this confusion by providing different names to the same organism in different places, scientific name is provided to a living organism. So the method of providing scientific name to an organism is known as nomenclature. Now, as we know about the nomenclature, the process of giving scientific name to an organism, so what is the meaning of binomial nomenclature? Now, by the definition, we can have a look that all organisms are given scientific name. Each name has at least two parts, one generic name and one specific name. This system of nomenclature in which two names are given to an organism is called binomial nomenclature. So that means in your name also you will find that there is a main name and a surname. So in the scientific world also there is a procedure, there are certain rules of providing a scientific name to an organism, and this rule is the scientific name should constitute two parts. The first part indicates the generic name, which indicates the genus of a living organism, which we will learn later on, and the other part is specific name, which will indicate the species name of the organism. So the two parts of the name is known as binomial. So the scientific name which is given to an organism must be of two parts, that is binomial in nature. Bi means two, that means the name should be in two parts, binomial nomenclature. So for process of providing scientific name to organism in two parts, the first part is generic name and the second part is specific name, is known as binomial nomenclature. So in the next class we will learn about the certain rules of binomial nomenclature, because there are some rules which are needed to be followed in the naming of an organism. So thank you and have a nice day.